subscribe, like the channel. Oh, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Oh, you've all come straight over. Do you have your munchies? Are you ready? Do you have your pen and paper? Do you have your radios? Do you have your, your clocks? This is going to be one of those lives. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you for joining. Right, YouTube, come on. Wakey, wakey. You're in the house. Thank you, Leah Kelly. First in the door. I love it. You're all joining now. Happy Sunday. I hope it's been a good one. And we all survived Storm Bear. Remember and like the video on both platforms. It really helps, so thank you so much. And subscribe if you're not a subscriber or a follower. And here we go. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for me to pickle your heads again for another week? Did you miss me last week? So to YouTube, who are not on, thank you for liking the video, guys, on YouTube. Who are not on our other platforms. I was off last week due to one of my sons being unwell. We are back this week. I am back to work officially tomorrow. So I'm so sorry to anyone who was waiting for the video last Sunday and obviously realised we weren't there. And to the trolls, who did you troll last Sunday night? Don't you worry, I'm back. Oh, thank you for joining. Right, okay, so tonight we are going to speak round the latest round P. Diddy, Donald Trump, and we are going to do the Spirit Box. Now, we haven't done the Spirit Box on a YouTube live yet, so this should be very interesting. I've got some questions that I've jotted down to ask the Spirit Box just alongside the things that I've been researching. But I've decided to go for Diddy's latest case and where it stands at the moment to keep us all up to date with that. But just something around Donald Trump as well. I thought we need to know. People have to know. Good to see you back. Thank you. He is on the mend, slowly but surely. Right, okay. If you've got your pens and paper, if you've got your munchies, if you threw everything out your living room, told them all F off for the next hour. I'm good, Donna. Thank you for asking. You're all so nice. Right, okay. So, the latest in the Diddy case. They're appealing again to seek bail. All right. Now, this is his 4th attempt at trying to get bail. The judge is still contemplating, believe it or not, but as it stands, he will not be getting out of jail. But they are basically attempting to seek bail at $50 million, making sure that he's monitored, he's got security and no internet. Now, I've wrote in a wee bit of a sticky note here as I was doing my research today with this, and I was thinking, he genuinely thinks he's going to get out, and like he's trying to get himself back into a little bit of normality because he thinks if it's not now, it's going to be soon. Diddy, if you're watching this or your twins are watching this, I don't see it happening. I don't know who's feeding you that information, but I don't see it happening. Another thing I did find quite strange is he's hired a death penalty lawyer. Now, that could be looked at two ways. Has he hired that lawyer for maximum effect? Or is he worried he's going for the death penalty? Hi, Heather. I don't think he's worried he's going for the death penalty, but I do think that his lawyers have said, listen, we need to keep this out. It's going to become in the fact that how many lawsuits he's got against him. Now, just to make it clear as well, a civil case, now, P. Diddy has a lot of civil cases being lodged against him on the daily. This week alone, he's had another, I just want to double check, 5 cases put against him. But what can happen is they can use the civil court evidence for criminal court evidence. So what's basically happening is it's going through civil court to keep some A-listers' names out, and they're all getting known as John Doe. But the reason that is kind of to protect the victim as well. So there could be like a lawsuit this week, there's 1 person named and 3 people not named, and it's because they have paid basically to keep their name off the document. But if that became criminal, then their name would be released. But as it stands, because it's civil, they're basically, so all these A-listers are paying through the nose to get their names basically hidden. But I don't see it being like that for long. I see a lot of change, especially over Christmas coming in. I want to say we are getting closer to hearing about an A-lister. Demi Moore has popped up a lot lately. But I want you to hear about the appeal. There's some laughable golden nuggets in there from his defence around the prosecution. So what they're basically saying is that now the jail had basically done a raid. They called it the Anti-Violence Act, that they were checking the jail from top to bottom to see if there was any weapons or anything that connected to P. Diddy. Now, they done a sweep of himself and found a 19-page notes, like just paper, and it was taken away. A few days later, it was then started an investigation to the things that he wrote on it, because it became apparent that he actually was doing a social media campaign, and he was getting his children to front it up, the birthday video where they were all saying, "We love you, Dad," and things like that as well. Bearing in mind, his son is also up for sexual abuse to do with the yacht party. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, so I can imagine his son's very much involved in this as well, but also the twins are involved. So the defence have basically said, because these notes have been taken, they're saying the prosecution have seen these, so that's going to then put more weight onto the case for the prosecution. Prosecution have put their hands up and said, we have not seen these letters. We are not allowed to see them because they're closed for the fact, so that it doesn't then make anyone biased. But the Diddy's lawyers are blaming the government left, right and centre. It's all a cover-up from the government. The prosecutor came back and said, now bearing in mind he's asked for a 50 million bail with security, like basically letting the authorities see everything that he's doing for visitors and things like that, when we know that he's going to be able to speak to people again to start putting plans together like he's done in the jail, using other inmates' phones so that people can't trace his call. But the prosecutors came back and said, he's violent. We have proven this in the video, and that there is, the fact he's running a social media campaign from prison, harassing witnesses, paying people off through his children, it would just give him more access to do this. Now, the judge said he would decide within the next few days. Now, Diddy's argument is that Mike Jeffries, the former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, who was also indicted in sex trafficking offences, he was given bail. So that's what they come into court with. But Mike Jeffries got it. Mike Jeffries is an 80-year-old, and it's historical sex trafficking, but also it's his first ever criminal offence. So that's what their defence was. Well, it's not the same. You're not the same person. You don't have the same criminalities. You've got a lot more criminality behind you than what Mike Jeffrey has. Very childish argument to made in a federal courthouse. Just saying. Right, okay. Let's go. What do we think so far? It's okay, we're getting on to Ellen DeGeneres. She's been doing the night and all. Sorry, Ellen. You won't want to stay in the UK long. Have you seen the Diddy and Tyson clip? No, but I couldn't help but think the fight last week, there was something more to that. And the fact that he didn't win, social media won, in a sense. I'm coming on to it though. It has been a big week for Diddy. Further 5 new lawsuits against him, separate from the current ones, all right? So this is people lodging them every day. Obviously, the jail had done a full sweep. They came across all these papers. Diddy's team's claiming that the prosecution have seen the 19-page letter, what we spoke about. He's obviously clutching at straws, but everything's the government's fault. His legal team are constantly going back on using tit for tat, like Mike Jeffries. They also said that the government are against Diddy and this is why it's happening. I don't think that's the case, but I do think Mike Jeffries is a connection. He feels like Mike Jeffries should be getting the same as him, so were they in it together? Was Mike Jeffrey in it before P. Diddy? Now, bearing in mind, we are still speaking about the Illuminati here. Thank you, everyone, for liking the video and everybody for joining in. Look at the numbers. Thanks so much. Now, also, there's been videos leaked of the white parties back in the day as well, and there's videos of Ashton Kutcher, sorry. Now, we have spoken about Ashton Kutcher quite often. It's obviously one of the first names that we brought up. I did predict a divorce between Ashton and Mila. Now, I don't know if it's confirmed or not yet, but I'm convinced they are not together. I do feel we're going to have a connection with Ashton Kutcher and JLo getting into January, February, where it could be a unfounded video, a video that's not been seen yet, but there's footage going to re-emerge and we're going to see it, and it's again going to bring in a lot of speculation. Now, Uncle Ron, P. Diddy's ex-bodyguard, we spoke about it on a previous live where we weren't sure that if he was dead or not. It said that he was dead, but it was not confirmed. Now, he actually died in September and it has been confirmed, and he died of pneumonia. Are you shocked? I'm not. Are you shocked? I should have prepared you for that one. Pneumonia. We're all going with pneumonia. Oh, you just spoke publicly about what he was doing and then died of pneumonia a few days later. Thank you. I don't think JLo wasn't married to him, but there's a song that she's brought out, and apparently it was about P. Diddy, like she can buy her own stuff and all that. I don't like JLo. Her and Beyonce, they are in the bitch girl club. It is live. Cheryl Mitchie, we are live right now on YouTube. Thank you for joining. Oh, thank you for joining, Gillian. I'm just catching up. Love don't cost a thing. Thank you, Heather. Yes. So apparently that was about P. Diddy. And he must have been trying to buy her. Manipulation at its highest. He also tried to pay off, which we spoke about before, he also tried to pay off the hotel staff to get rid of the video. And it was like £50,000-60,000. But he's pleading to get out of jail on bail. What I do think is, apparently he's lost a lot of weight and he'd felt his knees and he's getting very, very angry. That's what happens when you take the rich kids' sweeties away from them. And I think that's more... It's okay. Oh, thank you. I think that's more about temper than anything else. Jag, you're right, she spoke out again. She's also spoke out about the UK and about the boy bands, which again, we're going to come on to. I want to do the Liam Payne through the spirit box. We obviously did predict Liam Payne's death right on the day in the nose, which again, that's not when we were doing the live that we thought that's what we were speaking about until it played out. The Liam Payne thing, the last photo, I don't agree with that photo being out full stop. I can't imagine how that boy's mum and dad feel. Obviously, we've seen the pictures from the funeral as well. Simon Cowell looked very sad, very sad. Is that guilt or is that sympathy and compassion? I do think it was sympathy and compassion, but I think he feels he's bomb-proof. But the question is, why is he bomb-proof? Because I think he's as much involved as the next person. How can someone with no money, as in his mum and kids' names, can afford 50 million bond? Exactly. He's gave up his children's passports, his mum's passport. He's offered it all. But he is obviously coercion through his children. What I don't get, though, the twins are actually Kim Porters. Do they not even consider what their poor mum thinks of all this? Totally disagree with the picture of Liam Payne's body being put out in the public. Totally agree. There's not a lot that shocks me now, but I was shocked when I seen that. I was just shocked as a mum. I know TMZ did it, but there's actually another photo being put out where he's still alive and they're actually holding him. They're obviously trying to restrain him. He's obviously having his moment before he's passed. I just don't see why. I read Simon Cowell introduced Liam to Diddy. Or anybody could have, though, because you've got to remember Liam Payne's in with the DeGeneres and everything as well, who are also connected to Justin Bieber, who are also connected to Diddy. There's a million connections to why that is. One person I did want to touch on, I've not done a lot of homework on, but I will touch on it before we go on to the next thing, is Robin Williams. Convinced he was part of the Illuminati. I've seen a lot of videos where he's been signing it. But I don't feel he is part of any sort of paedophile ring. I feel it's more what he was caught up in. I feel he got two roles to do with someone else's power. Always the happiest people, and I know, like, his death was down to suicide. I truly believe that it was suicide, but I do believe it's because something was coming out about him as well, and I do feel we are going to hear it. And again, just like I've just spoke about with war, which we'll come on to, no one wants to believe certain things because they're like, no, not Mrs. Doubtfire, no. Now, bearing in mind, our childhoods have been ruined at this point. We've got Rolf Harris away. We don't even get me started. But just because you think you know someone, because you see a video or you've watched a film with them in it, like, it doesn't mean you know anyone. You don't know me. You could watch me for the last 8 years, but you don't really know me. And I think a lot of people these days are caught up with the social media of they think they know someone, so that they think them and their opinion counts. Whether with Robin Williams, I feel there's a lot going to come out around that. Robin Williams and Demi Moore are going to be the talk between December and the end of February. Yep. You've seen the photo, it's horrible. Just report the photo, that's the best thing to do, report it, because even the Daily Mail or any of these news outlets that have social media platforms, when you're reporting the story, it still goes against them. It doesn't matter who they are, it still goes against them. And the problem is, we live in a world where Avicii definitely involved. We've touched on it before. We live in a world where we have to know. We have to know. Oh, I didn't know that, AJ Snoops. Right, okay, the next thing, Donald Trump. He's an entity in his own, having that Elon Musk. We spoke about it before. We've laughed about it. We've argued about it. Now, this would sicken you, right? But Who are we to judge? Donald Trump has pending cases. He's been found guilty for 37 counts of falsifying business documents, all right? I'm sure if we were looking for a leader of our country, we would be looking for someone with integrity, respect for themselves, respect for others, kindness for others. He was already had this pending case before he went to be a president again. And one of the laws with being president is that they're exempt. So now he's going to be president from January. Either way, doesn't matter if this case is pending or not. So next week, and get into this week now, they're going to decide whether they're going to throw the case out or they're going to serve him and maybe give him jail time, but you'll have to wait till after his presidency in 4 years' time. He's as old as an antique. He's probably sitting back saying, I don't care. I probably won't be here for it, or I'm going to be close to not being here. Or he might just say he's got dementia, like Wendy Williams and everything else. So again, it's just another wee thing in Trump that you might not know, that it's worth knowing. Like, again, heading up and leading a full country when he doesn't even have any integrity. How can you trust that? How can you advocate for that in any way? Obviously, I've touched on Putin. There's a post on Facebook and Instagram if you're asking about that. I said I did a live the other day and I actually stopped myself in the live and I went, it's too political. And then the next day, the UK were getting pulled up for missiling on Ukraine with the UK missiles. That's obviously what I was going to say something political that day, and it was to predict that something was coming in around that. I wasn't sure what it was, but it wasn't as specific as what actually happened. Your Snapchat post, can you go into what did you mean with the Snapchat post? So if you're not watching politics, as it stands just now, Britain are getting involved in something that's really nothing to do with them, but we don't have a choice. And the amount of people writing on social media, why are we getting involved? We don't want involved. If you understood politics, we are America's allies. Whether we like it or not, we have to hang out their arse. They're one of the biggest countries, and I'd rather be standing with America and standing against America. But especially world leaders like Trump, Stammer, all these people at the moment, they're not good fits for what's about to come in. I already predicted the last Prime Minister wouldn't be a war prime minister. That's why he was leaving. The minute he's left, all this has came in. I do feel between now and the end of December, we're on a very, very tight rope. But as the UK does, the same with COVID, we were one of the last ones. Bearing in mind, people are burying their head in the sand and they're saying on even my post, oh, Christy, I don't want to hear this. And I'm like, are you kidding on? It is current affairs. It doesn't matter how you dress it up. You ain't going to get away from it. Do you think when the war starts, you're going to be able just to hide and kid on it's not going on? Sorely, sorely wrong. Educate yourselves. As it stands right now, Britain is not in good footing. Not just with Putin, but across the board, America are pulling all the shots right now. The only thing we've got on our side right now is that Putin and Trump actually got on better than anyone else out of all the leaders. So when Trump did come into power, it was probably a good thing, because if it had been Kamala Harris, and people might disagree with me here, we're still going to war. I don't care what anybody says, we would have still been going to war, but the war would have been different. Whether because Putin knows Elon Musk is in with this, and I've already said that when Elon Musk came in, that he's in here for a reason, is because Donald Trump knows what Putin's move's going to be is a cyber attack, so that people think he's going to press the red button. Now, bearing in mind, psychically, I don't think there is a red button, all right? But he's lived with this. He's gave us this fear for so many years. Notre Dame is, if you go and look at Notre Dame's predictions, I don't want to start filling them up in this live. Do your own homework on it, but he did say somebody was going to take over the world, and so far so good. All right, we're getting pushed into a corner and we're giving these people more leverage. Also, like I said, with America, we can't decide whether we want to be involved or not. We are involved. We do not have a choice. And if you don't understand politics and it's scaring you, get your head into the news, get your head into books and start educating yourself, because you will be less scared if you know what's happening. You're more scared because you don't know what's happening. Does that make sense? Should have came independent. So I was thinking the other night, and again, don't want to go too political, but I truly believe if Scotland had been independent, we would not be part of this right now. If you look at the hit zones, without scaring you, there's only one place in Scotland that's up for being hit, and it's the capital. Nobody else in Scotland, just that one place. Putin, if you're watching, we wanted to be independent. We didn't want anything to do with us. And Prince William, he was visiting our profile the other day. People were saying we don't want war. I understand that. Nobody wants war. But wars always came from politics. It's never came from civvies. Never. Not really. Think Fastlane would get hit. Too predictable. Definitely not. I know why you're saying it, but possibly, but I don't see it. Don't see it. There's a lot of threat levels, Gatwick, over the last few days. They're all your signs. The first thing these people want to do is create fear and alarm. And again, it's like people are saying, well, they're distracting us. I've said it before and I'll say it again without being rude. They don't need to distract us. We're all a bunch of shitebags. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. We're not being distracted. We're just avoiding it. When in reality, if you actually understood what was going on, it would give yourself, someone said earlier, power is knowledge. It would give yourself more knowledge to know what's going on and possibly be less scared, but take the right steps. Because if you're waiting on our Prime Minister to tell you how to do it, you're waiting a long, long time. I just think they should go into boxing ring and fight it out. I think they should just send all the menopausal women over. I'm just saying. Like, don't be... See, even the military, and I've seen a lot about national service, and I'm not laughing. Well, I am. More so at the men these days. Could you imagine taking on national service? Oh, I'm not going. I need my straighteners. I need a straw. My teeth are pure white. Probably get his cells shot because of the white fucking teeth. I don't see national... I see a lot of it being spoke about, but I don't see national service coming in because, again, it's more of a cyber. Hence why Elon Musk is sitting at the top of the table, alongside Mark Z. We've said it before, and all these are predictions, and I know they're shit predictions. I know they're negative predictions, but it's not all fairy tales. It's not all unicorns and all sorts. If I was on saying it's all going to be fine, nothing's going to come of it, you'll be glad the night that I said it. But in 2 weeks, you'll be like, she was rubbish, like, because she was wrong. Do you think the Cannon bus station was linked to it? Definitely not, no. I'm on the menopausal women. Listen, I'm not joking. See, about people I read for, see if there is a war, like I always say, between my group chat, the 212 Christie crew, and that Zen Den, we've got a good army. I feel very, very confident they could take everybody down in a really bad day. Mark Z has his big bunker all sorted. 100% it is. The fear of the unknown is worse, some truth, and we have nothing to fear but fear itself. I still say knowledge is power. I agree, Jane. The most menopausal women have it sorted by tea time, have the dinner ready, 1,000,000%. Could you imagine me? But listen, get a grip of yourself. Go home with your family. Come on, this is not what men do. Move. Stop being a wee fishy wife. On your way. Obviously, Trump has connections to Scotland. What was it? His exact words were, he's really Scottish because where he comes from. He comes from the islands, doesn't he? I'm like, really? Really? Say that, yeah, Ouija. Right, okay. What is the next thing I need to come on to? Oh, Ellen DeGeneres. She took herself to the Cotswolds. I can't say it. There, deep in the countryside, her and her partner, all because of Trump. Is it because of Trump, Ellen? Or is it because you were about to get indicted? I feel she's very high up the chain in this. I feel she's one of the celebs, allegedly, that's keeping her name out and paying off people. But I do feel one of the victims will take the hit and will be out in her name. And I do feel she is going to be run out the UK, and I get the word pedophilia round it as well. So there's I'm just giving exactly what I get. I don't like her. I really don't like her. But I feel like there's going to be... She's not going to get peace here, put it that way. I don't even think she is getting peace already if she's not already here. I see Europe with her, but she'll blame the UK as well. She'll blame the UK for not being welcoming, how this is affecting her. When in reality, I feel the person that's going to take her down is P. Diddy. Mr. McSnuggles, as she calls him. And you don't need to know why. That was her exact words. She did look terrible, but do you not think all these celebs are starting to look a bit terrible because they're absolutely riddled with nerves and anxiety because all their dirty secrets are coming to the top. And it's exposing Hollywood. This is Hollywood. What's happening right now? She's definitely giving Rolf Harris vibes. I think so. I would grass them all up. I think someone is, though. I really do. And I was doing my homework today between the civil cases and criminal cases to how if there was civil cases that had evidence and then it went to a criminal case, could they use the evidence in the civil case? And they can. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think they are... So any celebs watching, I think they're just all duping you out your money so that when it becomes a criminal case, you don't have any money to play with. Just saying. I think it's quite a good tactic myself. The video of her ex sitting up in the body bag. That'll stick with me. That That woman's dead, but she wasn't dead at that point. But I do believe she is dead. Yep, they look hellish. Lots of photos of them popping up in the UK. Two in plain sight. Oh, please tag me. Tag Christie's Readings if there's any photos on Facebook or Instagram here in the UK. I want in that. I want to know. I want to see. This is what I mean. I have to know. Right, okay. Whitney Houston, we have covered her. We've already said she's part of it. Aaron Carter. Aaron Carter was shouting right up to the day he died, if anything happens to me, I didn't do this to myself. I didn't do this to myself. We did a bit on Aaron Carter the last time. Obviously, he is not the only one that's passed. That is a really sad story, actually, around the Aaron Carter thing. It is said that Michael Jackson warned Aaron Carter, and that Michael Jackson was obviously part of it as well. We've said that from day one, that he was going to get exposed around something, and he knew that Aaron Carter knew as well. And I feel that they were actually in tow at one point, and he knew that's why something was going to happen to him. But I don't feel he'd any more info to give away. Like I said with the Illuminati before, they're taunting them. They're taunting them an awful lot before they do anything with them. And that's why Diddy is going so up the wall at the moment, because he knows his final days are going to be in jail. I don't think Liam Payne's ex was involved, no. She dyed her hair brown, I seen that. So anyone in the Cotswolds, if they see Ellen DeGeneres lookalike with brown hair, it's her. Do you see anything Stammer? So I wasn't going to mention this, but in for a penny, in for a pound. Did you know that Stammer, he is obviously a lawyer. He actually stood up for, see the boy that did the killings in Southport? Stammer represented his father years and years ago to keep him in the UK, because in his own country he had criminal offences, very, very severe criminal offences. Stammer stood up for him, kept him in the country, got him to stay in the UK. What, 16, 17 years later, his son's away out doing the same thing. If you didn't know that, you know it now. But it's not being spoken about a lot. It's weird. It's so weird. I don't know why. Don't worry, we're going to Spirit Box in a moment. The kids are okay, Violet. Thank you for asking. Southport Stammer. Conor McGregor, that's another one. Vile. Absolutely vile. But again, nobody wanted to believe him. He was still getting marketing and meets and greets and everything like that. You'd get influencers that were talking about him, endorsing him in every way. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, see this year and get into next year, this is where the influencing world's going down. I've already said it already. Like, people endorsing shit. There's that thing with the brand. I can't remember the name of the brand. But a few of the influencers I know was involved in it as well. But one of the guys that were involved in it was actually a groomer. He'd been grooming younger children, and they still had him representing that company. You've probably seen it on TikTok. I chose at the time not to bring it up, but it was actually a prediction. All those influencers involved in it, I'm very worried for you getting into the start of next year. Very worried for what you've been endorsing, what you are enabling, what you are pushing forward. Between that and the tax man, I think it's going to be good. Just saying, be perfect, that was it. Why are we endorsing this? Why are we making this acceptable? It's like the Conor McGregor thing as well. If they backed him up right to the minute he get called a rapist, just because that person didn't get charged with it, there's evidence out in black and white to prove that that's been done. I can't remember the ins and outs of the story, but James Charles, is that what it is? Yep. But endorsing a company like that, taking your children to things like that as well, when you already know these people have got tendencies, more shame on you. More shame on you. And I knew the prediction was spot on. The reason I kept it out in the page at the time and didn't bother saying is because they were already getting a lot of heat, so I didn't want to jump in the bandwagon of it. But that's going to come back to bite the brand, the influencers, and the person in question. Do you think Stammer will be pushed out of government? No, only because I don't feel there's anybody enough brave enough to take on his job at this time, considering what's going on. Now, his case isn't a criminal one either, but now that it's been proven, there's a chance that they can take it criminal and use the evidence in the civil. That's why I said it. James is a big seller for more. I don't know much about it, but when it all came out, I was like, that's a prediction. We've already spoke about this. And then influencers weren't addressing it and all sorts. Why were you not addressing it in your contract? To protect pedos, protect brands that are bringing people like that in because they want their following. They don't want that person. They want their following. Well, I will just give it out. That brand in particular, I don't feel good for you past February. Really don't. And I feel you're going to have a lot of legal cases coming around December time. So if you're constantly batting them out the now, don't see it happening for much longer. The other brand as well, the one that people keep complaining about, it's a young girl. She's done really well for herself as well. She's part in the predictions as well, but that's going to be more to do with, oh God, like something to do with branding or like copyright with something. Keep it. Yes, P. Louise, them as well. Oh, this is going to be some video of the night. It is what it is though, isn't it? And when I thought better, they too, thought much better than. But do you know what I'm going to say? One thing I realised with TikTok, you see people losing themselves. They start videoing everything, every last detail about themselves, and then they wonder why people have an opinion, but then they also wonder why they're shooting themselves in the foot. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you actually doing? Would you have endorsed a paedophile that walked into a makeup shop 2 years ago that you maybe seen in the paper or something? Of course you wouldn't. You'd be like, what are you doing in here? Why is he in here when there could be young kids? Young girls that deal with makeup. Young girls that love makeup and bringing characters like that. And don't get me started because I'll not stop. Right, let's go into the spirit box. And why don't we just all wait till February and see what plays out? I'm excited. Then they don't like when you give your opinion. Come on to this live then. Come on to my YouTube. Come direct to me, Brandon. Speak to me. I will give you a free reading. But just remember to save this live because I've just got a funny feeling something's coming out. You didn't think you can endorse paedophiles and things like that and people weren't going to do something about it or take their own action. Right, okay, onto the spirit box. Let's do it. I am with you 100%. They all should be held accountable. I think they will, don't worry. What gets up must come down. The people you kicking the way up, kicking the way back down. But a lot of these influencers now just think everybody's jealous of them. Really? Really? And just a wee thing, see all the wee free samples you are getting? You do know through the tax man, you really need to like, what's the word? Let them know that you're getting these free samples. Just saying. I hope you are. That's all I'm saying. Right, okay, on to the spirit box. Let's do it. Right, what questions I've got. So what we're going to start with is I've got some questions here. I want to start on the Liam Payne thing first to get that out of the way. What did you predict about Camilla? So I said in the post, and this is what I'm going to say, see when I put them up, please read the post before you write under it. Like the prediction was right at the top, not for that person there, but I predicted there'd be a female coming out with news at the start of November, and it was obviously to do with Camilla, and she'd come out with it. And then Big Will was on my page, Prince William, like, you've been talking about my mom, my dad, my gran. I'm like, yeah, that's me. Right, okay. Spirit, what do we need to know about Liam Payne and the situation, just a wee second, the situation leading up to Liam Payne's death? What I need you to do is pop in the comments. It can be a little bit hard to hearing, but we'll pop it in the comments and it starts to build a story. So, who is responsible for Liam Payne's death? Was it Liam or a third party? I hear boys too. Can you give me the name of who's responsible or who you feel's responsible for this? What friends are you talking about? Ed at 8. Why do you think you passed? Please. Did you take the drugs yourself? Mark. Where was the mark, or is it the name Mark? Thanks for following, guys. Were you connected to the Illuminati? Since COVID. Is there anything you want to tell us? Who was responsible for your death? I get through the spirit box that he's telling us that it was drugs and he was responsible for his own death. It was the behaviour before it that got him into trouble. I don't think anyone is going to be charged for Liam Payne's death. But I do feel we'll hear that more into January. But I see a lot of speculation between now and January around not just a friend, but another female, and it's not the ex-girlfriend. I feel someone else's we're going to hear about it. He's with two other men in spirit, and I feel they connect around his dad's side. And one of the men's actually saying he has to be here. Like, he handpicked him out. He just couldn't grasp it. He was not built for this world. I feel he was on drugs if he was 21. And I feel that his head was very, very gubbed. And I'll probably get shot for saying this, but I don't feel he was as a full-on dad as what he was made out to be. And he's telling me that he could have done better. He spent a lot of time away hiding from his boy because of who he was and what he was doing. I don't feel his partner had ever met his son. And I feel like I don't feel she got chucked out the week. I don't get that. But I don't feel she felt welcome at that funeral either. But she always knew that was going to be the case. They don't think she's the problem, but she enabled the problem near the end, I feel. So sad. Right, let's get on to what do we need to know about P. Diddy? Next. Who's next in P. Diddy's list to either come out or disappear? Me. You see too. Will P. Diddy get out of jail? Will he fake his own death?
Wait.
Will Kim Kardashian represent him? Thanks Eddie for liking the video. What is Kim Kardashian's connection to P. Diddy? Why does P. Diddy think he's so indestructible? Because he's screwed. Will he get the death penalty? No, but he's mindful. Is Epstein and Diddy connected? What does Kim Porter, if you're there, what can you give us through the spirit box regarding P. Diddy, your girls, and the things that are playing out now? Did you write that book? Someone made a good point there. New York doesn't have the death penalty. You're spot on, but I have a funny feeling these lawsuits are coming from more than one state. So just remember that, all right? And that could be an argument going forward in the next wee while. Not anytime soon, but more towards July next year, what you've just touched on there. Can you tell us what happened to Kim Porter? Does your girls have the gut instinct that their dad is capable of taking your life? If P. Diddy didn't kill you directly, who actually killed you? Thanks everybody for all your comments and your likes in the video. Is P. Diddy responsible for Aaron Carter's death and Brittany Murphy's death, or is it the Illuminati? Illuminati. Who is next on the Illuminati's list? Rap. Somebody who raps, right, okay. Brown. So I get a rapper, the name Brown in it, or having a connection with it, so just keep that all right. What was the next question? Did Brittany Murphy lose her life because of Ashton Kutcher? Or if not, who was it because of? Chris Brown. Chris Brown, you're right. Does Chris Brown connect to Kim Porter's death or something to do with one of the deaths that connect around Diddy? Heather, who's Foxy Brown? Is there anything else we need to know? My head's splitting with this, guy, so let's just go for one more. We'll do Trump as well, actually. Kathy and Chris Brown clearly. Oh, thanks, Sharon. What do we need to know about Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg? Jaw drop. Why were Jobby dropping? I'm excited about this one. Thanks. Can you name anyone else that is involved in this that we don't already know? Rupert? Voicemail? Somebody's voicemail. Right, okay. I feel a voicemail is going to be released and it's a celeb that we don't know about, but that's how this person's going to get outed. But I don't feel them going through the channels of the law. I feel something, that whole kind of Kim Porter book being leaked, I feel something else is going to be leaked. Rupert Murdoch, which, listen, we already knew. That was the phone hacking scandal as well. He was also connected around, what's her name, the long red hair. But that's after Rupert Murdoch. That's where it's just made me click something. Oh, it's so interesting. So I would say, first things first, Rupert Murdoch is obviously a link to the Illuminati. Makes complete sense because he had the knowledge for everybody for years that nobody knew. Was Piers Morgan not caught up in that as well? But I'm sure he had something to do with Sky and things like that. He was a big entity in the UK for quite a long time. The minute he kind of disappeared, that's when your Rolf Harris, Max Clifford and all these people started getting caught. The phone hacking scandal started. So how did he get past that legally when it went to court? Like, he wasn't blackmailing anybody. The justice system wasn't assisting him. So it means someone at his end, again, has dropped a plate in some way. Interesting. He's got a hand in loads. Well, I've already said Erica, her husband as well. Tom Girardi, convinced. No, Pierce was a journalist back in the day. Don't let him kid you. Was he not part of it as well? He leaked Matt Hancock's having an affair with his assistant during COVID, that's right. When is Jay-Z going to get arrested? So I did see a video where Rihanna was thanking her dad and Jay-Z was staring at her like, no, you have to thank my wife. They're nuts, they're absolutely crazy. They've been allegedly named in so many lawsuits, but they'll be buying their way out as much as they can. But I genuinely think the agenda is take them all through civil court, get as much money off them as possible, so when they go to criminal court, they don't have enough money. Convinced yet? Erica is meant to be back with Girardi. Oh, I don't believe that. I'm going to Google it though. We'll need to see. Do you think Kyle Richards from RH, like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, is connected? Yes, because Yes, and I'll tell you why, because she's obviously cousins with the Hiltons, but also she was a Hollywood family. She's been born and raised in Hollywood. Her sister is a wee bit nuts. I can't remember the sister's name. Not Kathy, the other one. And then when her and Mauricio split up, I feel there's been something behind that as well. Obviously, he's like, they're saying that he was cheating and things like that, and that they thought she was a lesbian. But it's all this kind of embarrassing stuff again. Like, it seems to be the same thing, just different characters. Would you agree? Have you enjoyed that? Listen to that wind out there. Thanks, Ifty, for joining. And thank you for liking the video. Honestly, you get no idea how much a difference it makes. Kim Richards. She was Hollywood actress when she was very young. Yep, they all were. Kylan Paris and Nicky's aunt. Yep. It's like that whole Kathy Hilton acting dumb all the time. Why is she acting dumb? Is she dumb? Is she that silly? I don't think so. Donating PK. Yes, but I don't feel... We got to remember PK's from here, from the UK. But he's more the Madeline McCann case and stuff like that. The elite there. Just saying, just saying. There's a reason there's not a thing for a divorce. 100% Jennifer. Hi Anne in Canada, I hope you're good. Denise Richards, is she related? Charlie Sheen, I would say yes, but I feel Denise Richards kind of get dragged into it, but she's just been off her nut and drugs for years, hasn't she? Do you think Kim K's role in American Horror Story based around her doing rituals and stuff? No, but I feel she took the bar exam and has qualified as a lawyer because she knows she's going to need it for herself. But I've thought that for the last 2 years. Barack Obama and Michelle have been named in all this. I said it before, I just don't get it with Barack Obama. Boy George and PK, yes, definitely. You might not remember, but I did a story way back and it was about a foster home. And back in the day, these children were being abused, and because they didn't have parents and people didn't really know where they were just in the system. These kids were getting put out to politicians, and then what they would do is they would drug the kids. And I'm probably going to get this wrong, but a lot of foster homes were around water. If you start looking at all the foster homes, you'll see there's water just round about. I don't know why, right? But there's always water round about. And a farmer actually made a report and said, listen, I'm seeing kids walking into this water and they're literally drowning themselves. They're walking into the water, killing themselves. People thought he was nuts. But what was actually happening was the kids were drugged that much that they were getting into the water and drowning themselves, and then they just picked the bodies up and put them away, and nobody ever knew they were missing, but they were basically put out to politicians, and this was all UK based, not American based. This is one of the reasons we came onto the paedophile rings and things like that. So that's why I just know this. See, when I'm going nuts about all these brands and people endorsing paedophiles, there's one in every street, and it's because people like them who are constantly enabling them and giving them the power, the followers to keep doing what they're doing. It actually tears me up. Like, I think the death penalty should be shared to given to any paedophile, anybody that's grooming children, anybody under the age of 16. I don't care if they're 15. Actually do not care. But if they are grooming children or they are doing bad stuff to children under the age of 16, you should get a death penalty. I would sign that, and I just know for a fact, like, there's a lot of people that would agree and sign the same thing. Why are we not doing it? Make our jails a bit clearer as well. And all these, like, people who are out already fighting for these paedophiles, like, literally catching them. Well done, because the police can't get a rein on it. And it's not because they don't want it, it's because there's far too many, but we don't want to admit that. No way, like, our wee neighbour down the road could be like that. Somebody that does all that for social media could be like that. You're wrong, you're sorely wrong. And you think all these wee kids that have endured this and then lost their lives, never spoke about, don't even have a memorial. People don't even know they're dead, some of them, other than that they died of pneumonia, tuberculosis, when in reality, did they? Or were they raped and drugged on a mattress in a room for 4 days in front of politics? Sounds more like it. And again, it's all these things where, oh, Christy, don't say that. I don't want to hear that. Wake up. That's the awakening. The awakening's not being distracted by the government. The awakening is waking up and realising nobody's good. Not many people are good at all. And 9 times out of 10, it's the statistics. There's one paedophile in every street. So if you're sitting at home and you're saying, it's definitely not my street, well, it's either the fucking man that's sitting next to you or the woman that's sitting next to you, or it is going to be somebody in the street. It doesn't matter how you dress it up. Does not matter how you dress it up. And it makes me sick to my back teeth, because when I put posts up and the Queen with Prince Philip and all these different things, like, oh, but he wasn't a paedophile. Yes, he was. She was 13 and he was 18, 17, 18. He was a paedophile. I don't care how you dress it up. It gets me so bloody angry, and that's why I'm saying any of the brands or anything like that I've been speaking about tonight, come forth. I am more than happy to debate it out with you. More than happy to debate it out with you. The Great Awakening is upon us. What goes up must come down. Where I live, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. And just because they've got the best job or they work with children doesn't mean it's not them. Don't, if you ever, and I say it to everyone, if you ever even get a little instinct that somebody might be up to that, report it. Report it. You've got nothing to lose. Who else is going to advocate for that child? Probably fucking nobody. Because these days, and you must be able to see it on social media, and that's where it gets my back up so much. Christy, I don't want to talk about it. It scares me. So what if something else in your life scares you, like something like that? You find out your uncle, your dad, or somebody's doing that to a family member in your family, you just go to kid on and you're ignoring it because I don't want to rock the boat. Shut up and see if you're one of the people, get off my page. Cheerio, see you later, goodbye. There was a dentist outed recently, I know. Yep, statistics show they tend to work with children, that's correct. Can you see if there's people stay around you? You can go to, I don't actually know. I don't want to give out anything just in case I'm wrong on it. Don't wait for police to tell you there's a pedo in your area. I'm telling you there's a pedo in your area, or there's one in every street. It's like that whole distraction. I'm not being told what to do, but you're waiting the police or authorities telling you there's pedophiles in your area, all these different things. We're waiting the government to tell us the next news by World War III, but we're independent. We're all about doing things on our own. Come on, wake up. Come on. The photographer for the Royals were recently stung. There you go. I've seen a lot of stings recently, quite rightly so. Don't always necessarily agree with how the people speak to the person, only because you've got to remember that person's family's watching and they're not to do with it. They're probably going to their bed at night not even knowing this shit's going on. So I don't really necessarily agree with that side, but I agree with the fact that they are getting stung and people are out to sting them, and quite rightly so. And to every paedophile out there that's watching right now, I am putting it on you. I hope you get caught. I hope your computer gets caught. I hope that when you do get caught, everybody in your granny see you. Everybody in your granny out you for who you are. Rain's list, read it, you'll be shocked. Everyone read it, okay? It terrifies me that there is the first to be homes in areas with children. Right, okay, so putting with the cyber attacks, I do predict it's coming the next 11 days. I've not put it out yet, but the next 11 days we're going to see something. Your gut tells you, especially if you're a mum, you'll pick up mention 100%. I think with the amount of readings I've done and the amount of stories I've had, that's why I don't leave my kids with nobody. And I really, really mean it. Like, mine used to get like, I don't know, you get the dodgy man that lived down the street, and now you think back and think, maybe it wasn't him, it's probably the guy next door that was dead fucking quiet, that was just peeping out his window now and again. I hope they're all outed. That's why I'm like, bring it on when it comes to talking about people who are grooming children, paedophilia, the whole lot. Bring it fucking on. Just found out that there's one in our street and the mob are all the way time to make sure he's safe because his windows went in. I just think it should be a death penalty, and I'll always say it. Or the women. 100%. Listen, people think paedophiles are just men for some reason. I don't know why. Women, it's the same percentage in women as it is in men. I had a guy follow my daughter a few years back. She called me and we went to the police station. It was all on CCTV. Scary times. I would literally do time. I would do murder. Do absolutely murder. I never let anyone around my kids when they were staying single for years. I would do it all again to keep them safe, 1,000,000%. Oh, right, so somebody thinks Pat St. Clement's on Rain's list, top woman, Joan Coleman. I think she runs Illuminati. Oh, have a look at that. Guys, thank you everyone for joining. Have you enjoyed the live? A guy next door to me going to America because he owned a child play area in Bridgeton. Scary. Absolutely scary. I don't share it on the page just because I don't want to bring shitty content, but I do like to see a wee sting now and again. I like to see if somebody else been caught. What is the Rain's list? I agree with everything you say. I never let anyone burn my kids and my daughters, 100%. Drake dissembled a child. What? Oh, I don't know them, Josie. Josie, I don't even know much about TikTok. I just seen all these videos about this brand and then I did my own homework and I'm like, what the fuck? But what goes up must come down, that's all I'm going to say. And if you're building your things based in TikTok, then I'd be very worried for next year. I'm an avid follower of the hunters for teams for years now. I've read for a lot of them. Hats off to them. And as far as I know, sometimes the police are happy that they're doing the job, as long as there's not people out protesting things. They want these people caught. I think, but there should be more inaccessible list where we can see. But you've got to remember, and it's not the paedophiles that are on the list we should be worried about. It's the ones that are behind doors that nobody knows are paedophiles. And if you've got somebody in your house and you're thinking, you protect children, protect the people round about you, protect the people round about that person, because you're enabling it. You're not any better. In fact, you're probably worse in a sense, and that's the point I was trying to make with how you're endorsing people. Right, okay, the next 11 days, I feel we're going to hear something around cyber attack, or something's going to change. I don't necessarily feel it's our country straight away. I do see a lot of heavy-handedness around about White Building in America. I wasn't going to say it. It's not the White House. Could be the Pentagon. But I just feel something's going to kick off around that in the next 11 days. And I feel like we're going to have a massive wake-up call. Now, we can't just bury our head in the sands, and we must educate ourselves. TikTok is getting banned in places that will end up worldwide. Defo TikTok is, yep, toxic. You're definitely better to know where they are than to protect your children. You know what, Christy? Absolutely amazing the way you talk. You care. You're a mum. I'll be behind you all the way. Thank you. Kanye West has been taken to court for sexual assault. The list is just dropping bit by bit by bit. Hope Trump tells his pal Putin Scotland's off limits. Putin, if you're watching, like, we're all right up here. We didn't really want involved in it. But we're trying to educate ourselves so we understand, because you really don't want to send the Scottish nuts, because if you send us nuts, then you'll need the fucking red button. Oh, thanks, Ivy, for joining. Right, okay. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good Sunday, the rest of your evening. Remember to like the video and subscribe. I'll be here next Sunday, back to normal. Okay, that's me. MI5 are looking for me. Prince William's looking for me. Putin's looking for me. Probably Diddy's looking for me. I'm well wanted if I disappear. But just so you know, I popped the post up yesterday. There's investigators genuinely going out to people and asking them, are you being paid for doing this? They've not appeared here yet, but I'm thinking my wings have been greeting that much this weekend. They could have been at the door and I didn't even know. So if you came at the door, investigators, I'm really sorry. No being paid for it, but get paid for it if I get a lot of views. So just saying, thanks, Diddy. Thanks, Beyonce. Happy Sunday. I hope you all have a good one, and I'll see you all again soon.